Alright guys, so we are now on the final stretch. iOS 26 may soon be released to the general public, and in today's video I wanted to share my thoughts with you guys on the latest set of betas, Developer Beta 8 and Public Beta 5. These betas have been out for nearly 1 week, and as per usual, I always like to come back and share with you guys my experience so far with the software. I would like to talk about the battery, performance, any bugs, and I also want to talk about the expected release date for the next betas or perhaps the final release. Now keep in mind this year things may be a little bit different. This is an entirely new redesign coming to iOS with liquid glass, and Apple could release additional betas when compared to previous years. So we'll talk about what that release schedule may look like. Maybe perhaps we'll see another beta, the RC, and then the final release. We'll get to that here in just a couple of seconds. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is the Apple Invite application. Now, Apple has recently updated their Invites application with a new widget that allows you to count down to an event. So you can download this application directly from the App Store. This is an app by Apple, and you can now add a widget to your home screen for a countdown. How convenient for Apple to release this now. Now, I've been using it, obviously, to count down the Apple event. It is in 10 days. So in 10 days, Apple will most likely be announcing the new iPhone 17 lineup alongside some additional products like Apple Watch and perhaps even Airpods. So if you want to watch or use the Apple Invites application and count down to an event, this is what it looks like. You can go ahead and set an event for yourself and start the countdown with the Apple Invite application. So I just wanted to mention this because Apple had conveniently updated their application to use a widget to count down to a big day. So yeah, let's go ahead and talk about iOS 26 and what's been my experience so far. All right, so the first thing I want to talk about is what we can expect moving forward. This is a question that I continue to get. Although the final design for iOS 26 is nearly finalized here, we can still expect Apple to add minor touches to the OS, minor refinements to the OS. Keep in mind, Apple is introducing an entirely new redesign to iOS, so they may want to polish this as much as possible. There's minor things that still need to be put in place. Just for example here, under display and brightness, we still rocking the old iOS 18 wallpapers running iOS 26, so that needs to be changed to iOS 26 wallpapers, and just minor refinements before the official release of iOS 26, perhaps happening to liquid glass or even animations, or who knows, even the lock screen. Keep in mind that with the announcement of the new iPhone 17 coming up on September the 9th, Apple may introduce some new features and capabilities that may trickle down to at least the iPhone 16 model, so we may see some minor changes after the announcements of the iPhone 17 added to iOS 26 RC. So we'll keep you posted, but in terms of major changes moving forward as the OS currently sits, don't expect any drastic changes. Again, if Apple introduces some new capabilities to iPhone 17 after September the 9th, once they release the RC, we may see some of those capabilities trickle down to the iPhone 16 lineup, so I'll keep you guys posted. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is battery and performance. Obviously, this is going to be super important, and after using this beta for nearly 1 week, I have to say battery life has been pretty solid so far. Now, it could be better, but at the end of my day, if I charge in the morning and then go all day without charging, I still have a little bit of battery left. I want to say anywhere from 10 to 15 to 20% left at the end of the day. I have my charge limit set to 90. Now, purposely last night, I left this iPhone running YouTube all night with brightness at about 40%, and I still woke up to about 18% battery life. So yeah, battery, although it could be better, so far is looking pretty good within the latest beta, and I would imagine with the RC, we should see some minor adjustments moving the battery life a little bit better in the future. So we'll have to wait and see. Now, in terms of performance, we also saw a nice spike in performance here as well. So let's head on over to the benchmark here. So this is the history. So the previous beta below right here and the latest beta right on the top here. Take a look at the single core and multi-core versus the previous beta. We saw a nice jump anywhere from 400 to 500 points depending on the one that you're looking at here. So you see there we have the single core score here on iOS 26 beta 8 at 3,445, and the multi-core score 8,573. So a nice spike in performance here as well. So things are looking pretty good, pretty solid within the latest beta. So now I want to talk about what we can expect moving forward. Is there going to be another beta? Are we going straight to the RC official release? Let's talk about the schedule. Now, as I mentioned, this year Apple is redesigning iOS, and we could see some additional betas before the official release or even the RC. Now, we know that the iPhone 17 event is happening on September the 9th, so that is 10 days away as of the filming of this video. Now, next week, week, the week of September the 1st, this week, we may see another beta if Apple wants to add additional refinements to iOS if they feel like they need to before the RC or release candidate. We will most likely see the RC on September the 9th, during or after the iPhone 17 announcements. Apple could release the RC, release candidate. This is typically what happens. But the week before the event, we typically don't see any betas. Nothing happens in regards to software releases. And that could be the case this year. I'm not saying we will see a beta 9, but if Apple wants to add additional final touches to iOS 26 before the RC, then obviously next week on September the 1st, we could see another beta. Obviously, I'll keep you guys posted. So if we do see another beta next week, it will most likely happen on Tuesday the 2nd or the 3rd. Keep in mind that Monday is Labor Day here in the US, so it is a federal holiday. So we won't see any betas on Monday, September the 1st. Most likely the 2nd, the 3rd, or the 4th, we may see beta 9. Who knows? And then perhaps after the iPhone 17 announcement on September the 9th, iOS 26 RC, which is almost a given to be happening. The RC, I think, will happen regardless on September the 9th after the event. And then an official release for iOS 26 will most likely happen around September the 15th, which is the following Monday. And there you guys have it. That is everything I wanted to share with you guys in today's video. So far, iOS 26 looking great. This is the final stretch. Thank you for watching. Have a great weekend, guys, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.